Hi Scouts, welcome to this week's Lunch and Learn. We're going to be talking about wilderness medicine and healthcare professionals and all the kinds of care that we provide to you when you're in Scouts. So we're here today at the Pathfinder Outdoor Education Center and our Operations Center where we keep our ambulance, and we're standing in front of our ambulance with some of our key healthcare providers that will introduce themselves now.
I'm Zach Pisney. I'm from Troop 68. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I'm also certified in Wilderness First Aid and CPR, and I'm also president of Venture Crew 2000.
My name is Cale Hansen, and I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 766 and the vice president of Venture Crew. I am trained in CPR and certified in Wilderness First Aid.
I am Aaron Leckie. I'm from Troop 766. I am a Life Scout, just about to get my Eagle. I am certified in Wilderness First Aid.
This right here, this is one of our past patients. We try to avoid outcomes like this, but accidents sometimes happen. But I'm Kyle Young. I'm a member of Venture Crew 2000. I'm certified in Wilderness Medicine, and I am the drone captain for V2K.
I'm Keegan McRae. I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 766. I'm certified in Wilderness Medicine and CPR, and I run the shooting program for Venture Crew 2000.
And I'm Dave Blankenship. I'm a Wilderness EMT. I'm advisor to the Venture Crew 2000 and also run the Emergency Care and Safety Institute chapter, which provides education for many of your leaders and scouts. Next up, we're going to tour the inside of the ambulance. A view into the back, and there are cameras in the front that show that driver what's happening in the back. It allows them to select the type of lights to be flashing, the sirens to use, any special traction that's needed on the ambulance. The ambulance has a special set of snow chains on it that helps it go in snow or ice, and a lot of other specialized gear. So that completes the tour of the outside of the ambulance, but the most important part of healthcare are the people that provide it. So let's talk to some of those people now. One of the skills that the crew teaches is CPR. Here you can see CPR being conducted on one of our mannequins. These are the new mannequins that are available, which show the blood flow as it would occur in a patient. You can see the blood flow going up the sides of this patient's neck up to his temple, and occasionally even there will be a light on the forehead showing that the blood flow is reaching the patient's brain. This helps you learn how to do it properly, so you know the precise number of compressions and the depth of compressions that are necessary to maintain the blood flow in the patient's brain. Over here you can see what happens when you don't practice CPR properly. Fredo didn't do very well in this outcome, and in spite of Zach's best efforts, you can see Fredo probably isn't going to make it.
Hi, it's Keegan, and this right here is what we call moulage. In our wilderness medicine trainings, we generally do a lot of practice, and we believe that if you practice what you preach, then you should be able to replicate it if you're in an actual emergency. Okay. So, I'm gonna recreate this wound right here onto this arm so you guys can see the process of how we make injuries so that we can practice in the wilderness. So we use 3 materials. This is basically skin putty. You rub it on his skin and it matches his skin tone, and it basically gives you something extra to work with so that when you make a slice in the skin, or you're trying to make a cut, let's say, it'll look like his skin's actually separating. So we're gonna use this tool to make the slice and put it on. And then afterwards, this is non-staining scene blood, and you just use that to put the blood in the wound. So step 1 is to get a glob of this putty right here. Doesn't really matter how much you take, it just determines the size of the cut. So let's say we want it right there or something. Just smear it on. And then you kind of clean up the edges so that it blends a little better. Now Aaron's been working outside a lot, so his skin doesn't really match this pale winter look that we have right here, but they come in multiple colors. So if you had a darker patient or someone who has a tan, you can pick a putty that fits their skin perfectly. So the next thing that I'm going to do with this putty is I'm gonna put a cut in it, and it's gonna look just like his skin's opening. So you push down on the skin, and you just pull through it. And you see how it opens up? It's just like a cut. Then take this right here, which is seam blood, and you apply it to the wound. And you just keep going until you get a drip, because that makes it look a little more realistic in the wilderness. And there you go. That's how you make a cut on someone. Oop.
Hi, it's Kyle. Like I said earlier, I'm the drone captain for V2K. And I'm also a registered Part 107 drone pilot, which is a commercial drone pilot. Right here we have the Mavic 2 Enterprise. This is one of the drones that the V2K operates. This drone is equipped with a lot of different attachments for various search and rescue missions and other applications like that. So this one actually has a light on it, so that can be turned on and used for search and rescue. So if you wanted to fly at night and you needed to find somebody, you could use a light. It's also got a speaker, so this can be used to talk to a victim if they're far away and difficult to reach, to tell them help's on the way or communicate any other important information. It also comes with a beacon, so it flashes really bright, and so it's easier to spot the drone in not ideal weather conditions or other situational details. And then this drone's also equipped with 2 different cameras. So it has a thermal camera and a normal camera, so it can be used to find, say, a person out in the wilderness, like if they've maybe fallen or they've gone missing. This drone can be used to help track that person down and find them. And then the information captured from this drone can be used to send a ground search and rescue team to go rescue the person.
And what about the battery life? The batteries?
So the battery life on this drone is right around 30 minutes, and we have 2 extra batteries here and then 1 on the drone, so that gives us an hour and a half of flight time, and that's enough to cover a lot of ground. So it's very useful for tracking down someone that either ran away or maybe got hurt. These kinds of drones can also be used in like law enforcement, so if there's a suspect that got away and say maybe it's like a really dense like cornfield or something that they ran into, you could use something like this to track someone down. It can also be used by fire departments, so if there's a fire, they can look through the windows of the building and possibly find someone that's trapped maybe on like the 3rd floor. It can also be used to find the hotter parts of the fire, and so that can be valuable information for firefighters as well as just the overall design of a building. It can help with a faster recovery of people inside. Hi, Kyle again. Now we're outside, and I'm just gonna do a little demo on our drone. So here we go. All right, so I don't know if you can see this, but that's the view from the drone right now. That's the live view. So you can see us here recording, and as we move the drone, you can see we're going up. You see how everyone's kind of getting smaller. So this live feed is what we use when we're trying to find a person, or I'm trying to look around in an area. And then this drone also has infrared, so here's an infrared picture of Pathfinder. So you can see the roof is really hot, as well as the cars and the solar panels. Everything else is relatively cool. It's pretty nice out today, so. Hello again, Scouts. Now we're upstairs at Pathfinder, and this is actually the computer that we use to process drone footage or any other footage that we've captured. So for a lot of search and rescue missions, obviously you're watching your device real time looking for someone, but for some other missions, like for example like an inspection, like maybe you think there's something up on your roof, or there's some kind of problem up on a tower, you would record your footage and then you bring it back to your computer where you process it. So this is our processing PC, where we kind of finish the job with the drone if we need to process the video after we take it. Computer is also used for video editing, and also this is where we design our light shows. If any of you went to either of the last 2 years, Arrow of Lights with the big light show. This is where we make it happen. So.
Hey Scouts, I know most of you probably have used a telephone. You've used mom's phone or dad's phone, and some maybe even have your own phone. But there are actually times when your phone doesn't work. And those times are often related to emergencies like hurricanes or tornadoes or even the flood that happened in Cedar Rapids many years ago that you've probably heard about. So when the phones don't work, there's another way you can communicate, and it's through these radio systems like you see here. This is called an amateur radio setup. This is a very sophisticated one because you can see on this screen people talking, and then you can tune into those folks and you can actually communicate around the world. There's almost nowhere in the world that you can't communicate with this kind of a system. We actually used radio during the floods in Cedar Rapids of 2008 and had an active role in helping communicate. We were able to communicate regarding medical issues in some of the shelters and radio in medical supplies, and even supported some of the law enforcement opportunities and operations that were going on. So I'll just tune this up a little bit so you can hear the voices.
It's funny, the American side.
So even though voices are coming from around the world, they can be very clear like this. And this happens to be a person talking about Canada right now. But we can also talk to people in Russia and China and Italy and all over the world. So next up, I want to show you one of the pieces of equipment that we used during the flood and show you how that you as a scout can even get involved in supporting emergency operations. Hey Scouts, we're outside now, and I just mentioned to you that I was going to show you another piece of equipment that can be useful. This is a piece of equipment, it's our command center, our radio command center that's portable, and we used this during the flood. During the flood, the police station flooded out. It's downtown near the river, and they ran out of power because their generators were unable to keep up with their demand. So here's one that we used. We actually took this down and parked it next to the ice arena where the police were, and this helped back up the 911 service for Lynn County. Inside, I'll come on around and I'll show you what's inside. Inside we have Cale in here showing you how we operate radios. The same kind of radios that we talked about inside that can talk around the world can be used out of this facility here. So we have radios in here that can talk either locally to other people through line of sight or through our repeater that we have operating, or we can talk on high frequencies literally all over the world.